No audience, no reads, no listens. Why create? Episode 93 of the Books by Josh audio immersion, titled Writing When No One Is Reading. Let's begin. So, I don't know if you know this by the title, but Books by Josh, I am a writer. Hey, you probably know that already if you've listened to any of the episodes here. So, let's answer the question, why write when you don't have the readership? Why create when you don't have the listeners? Well, that's a real question that some of us ask. And trust me, if you're a creator, you will be obsessed with metrics. I put out some short form content and I scheduled it to come out on Monday. And you know what I did for most of the day? I went in and I looked and kept on refreshing the stats because you want to get the views, you want to get the clicks because you put actual effort in this. But here's the thing, it's not going to happen right away. I know this, but yeah, I torment myself with this because of anxiety. And you have to ask, what's the point of writing or creating something if not that many people are going to read it? It's not paying the bills fully, right? Why keep doing it? Well, because it's fun. It's something I love doing. And my main thing is I'm not looking to get rich. I'm not looking to be Stephen King or any of these big writers. It'll be nice, I'm not going to say no if I become famous. But at the end of the day, I just want to create. It's an outlet for me. It allows me to actually get my work in front of people. And if they like it, that's great. If they don't like it, maybe the next thing I put out will be for them. Which is why I write in many different genres, why I do book reviews on my blog, I do philosophy, motivational quotes, anything. I even talk financial stuff sometimes, not financial planner. But I just need an outlet to get everything out. Because it's, like I said, fun to do. You sit there and you're actually creating something. You're pouring your heart and soul into it. And here's the thing, it's something that lasts beyond us. When we're no longer here, guess what? You leave behind a legacy. Somebody might not read it, but here's the thing, somebody might read it. You ever randomly go to an old bookstore and pick out something that you've never heard of, and you're like, wow, this was a great book? That's the thing. I'm not saying I'm a great writer or nothing like that, but it's just the odd chance that, hey, someone might benefit off this. Prime example, on my site, booksbyjosh.com, you can go there and most of my actual metrics are from people going in and viewing older posts that I've done, which is great. Just look, I'm going into it right now live. So some of the hits for today, one was from a post I did on 2021 about the wealthy barber versus the wealthy barber returns. Then I have one from 2017 here about a Bible quote. And another one about keeping your promises, identifying yourself. So that's the thing, it lives on. As long as I have my site, people can actually find previous content. So it might not be for today. When I produce content, I'm not looking for it to hit today. I want content that can be reflected on. Like I said, 2017, one of those posts that were just hit on today. So that is almost 9 years because it's about to be 2026 in literally 2 days. So it's something that stands the test of time because it's my opinion on certain things. And my books are my opinions on what a mystery novel should be, what a poetry book should be, what a finance book should be. So that's the thing. People can refer to it later. But it's hard, like I said. You sit there and you pour your heart and soul into something and you expect it to make some money. I've sold copies of my books. I've gotten paid on like Medium, stuff like that. But like I said, it's not something that I can live off of, which is why I have a traditional job and I do other things as well. And that's okay. The main purpose of this, I know that I want to make money as a writer, and I am making money, but I'm not at that point that I can quit my job and just be fine. So it is disheartening when I sit there and I put out a book, I do some ads on Amazon for it, for example, and I sell a few copies, but if you don't break even on the advertising, you're like, wow, was it even worth it? And you're like, it is a business expense, so I can claim all my taxes, so that's fine and dandy, but it's just the feeling. It's not about the money. Really, it's about the feeling that are you good enough? And that's a feeling as a creative I have all the time. I sit here, I talk, I listen back, and I'm like, is this a good piece of content? And honestly, I appreciate everyone who comes in every time the episode comes out and listens because it shows some people like my voice. I don't. I hate editing my podcast because I hate my voice. And that's why I haven't done videos in a while because I have to sit there and actually edit even more than the podcast. So it's something, like I said, every creator probably faces. I'm not every creator, I'm just Josh. But for me to overcome it is just keep pumping out content, trying to bring out the best content I can, always learning. I've been doing short form for what, 3, 4 days. So I'm learning, I'm trying to adapt to the times. Even started TikTok, books underscore by underscore Josh. And it's basically the same as the YouTube shorts. So you'll get the same content. You don't have to go to TikTok, download anything like that. But if you want to see those shorts, it's essentially taking my blog posts from the books by Josh and repurposing them to short form content for like the philosophy, the motivational quotes, things like that. So that's on the YouTube shorts for the books by Josh channel. But like I said, I'm just trying to put out content because I've taken a long break. Basically, in the entire pandemic, when others had time, I was busy working and just living life. Honestly, I stopped creating, and I was sad for that. And now I'm older, of course. Each day we get older, each second we get older. But I've left my job, I started a new job. I'm not fulfilled. What fulfilled me was the joy of creating. When I first wrote my first book, when I was first published as a poet at the age of 16. Those feelings you can't get back, but they live on in memories. So I'm chasing that high, as you would call it. And that's why I'm creating again. Look at the metrics. It's disheartening, like I said, because they could be better. They could be worse also. So it's a glass half full, half empty kind of thing. But it's allowed me to put out 2 books this year. They're not long books, but it's 2 books. And here's the thing, on January 1st, I actually have another book coming out as well. This one is actually completely different from the other ones. Who would guess that the guy who wrote a mystery novel, who wrote a poetry book, a finance book, is now writing a completely different book? And that's the thing. This one is called A New Set of Eyes. What is A New Set of Eyes? Well, it's a thoughtful guide for creators using AI without losing their voice. If you listen to the past few podcasts, you should know that I've been using AI to assist me with certain tasks. By the way, this is just me talking. I have no script for this at all. I could have had AI write me a script, but I chose not to because I am me. So in this book, I set out to just tell people it's okay to embrace AI. And I also talk about how I'm using it to keep my voice because I want to be Josh because that's who I am. I'm Josh, I'm ChatGPT, I'm not Grok, I'm not Gemini, I'm not Claude, I'm not Suno, I'm not any of those. I'm just Josh, and these tools help me create. And some of us might say, oh no, I don't want to touch AI because it's no longer me. So that's what I'll talk about in that book, and that'll be out on January 1st. And realistically, I'm not looking to sell 1 million copies. I'm not looking to be New York Times bestseller. I'm not looking to be Amazon top 100 books or whatever, or high rankings. Listen, if I get 1 or 2 people to read it and learn and better their craft, that to me means a lot more than selling hundreds or thousands of copies. That would be wonderful, you know? If I could sell 100 copies a month, guess what? That's bills paid through that one book. But if I can sell maybe 5 copies in the month and someone picks up and goes, wow, this has helped me, and that can actually help them create better and earn a living through their work, that's even better for me. To just have them reach out one day on the site, say, yo, thank you, this book actually helped me through a tough time. It helped me get my groove back. Or shout out on Twitter or whatever, you know? Or leaving a comment on a YouTube video. That's what I like. Because that means my work has affected you. And that's always been my goal, because I've mentioned this many times before. When I was growing up, I used books as a way to escape certain things. And my books, I want to be able to provide that same feeling. It's like I've read the biography of the person who wrote the Hardy Boys, the original guy. Of course, his name wasn't Frank W. Dixon. That's just a pen name that they give all the writers that do it. But his biography was great. But he changed my life, you know, and I want to be that for anyone who picks up my books, which is why I write in any genre, because I'm knowledgeable on certain things. I'm not no expert on anything. Only thing I'm an expert in is being Josh. But guess what? I have many platforms, many different listeners. Like, honestly, if you're listening to Books by Josh audio immersion, you might not listen to Tech with Josh or Manga with Josh, or you might not read my posts because that might not be your wheelhouse. Whereas this might be your wheelhouse because it's me just being real, just talking into a microphone and staring at a screen that just tells me the title of this episode so I won't mess it up in the intro. That's literally how I record. I sit here, have a title down, and I just talk because I'm expressing myself. And guess what? Sometimes that's all you can do. You gotta leave that comfort zone. Like I said, I'm anxious looking whenever I put out a piece of content, looking at the metrics. The numbers matter, of course, if you want to get sponsorship, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it messes with your headspace, your mindset. If you focus on the numbers, you're going to do content that's going to get views, things like that. Sure, I can put out some buzzword topics, research. Hey, what's everybody searching, and do an episode on that. But if I'm not having fun doing it, what's the point? Like Warren Buffett says, you want to dance to work. This, to me, is something that I want to have fun doing. I don't want this to become something I dread, that say, hey, I don't want to record right now because I'm talking about the hottest topics, stuff like this, things I don't care about. Whereas if I want to talk about philosophy because something hit me with a certain quote, I can do that. If I want to just rant on something like this, writing when no one is reading, I want to be able to do that. With my books, those actually cost some money to produce, you know, advertising, things like that. ISBNs if I want a physical copy. So those are actual investments. So I can't really just rant on there. I need to make at least $1 or $2, like literally a dollar or two, and I'm happy to say, hey, at least I sold a copy. I have a weird mentality. But honestly, if you're in the same boat, it's okay. Don't get into content creating because you want to make money. Get into content creating because you love creating content. If you love taking videos of yourself, sure. If you love talking, like apparently I do, make a podcast. If you love writing, write. But don't get into something for the money, because when you're doing something for the money, it's not as fun. That's what I'm saying. I do this on the side. I'm not telling you to quit your job and just focus on creating until you earn a living, or locking yourself like in a room until you make $1 million. I've seen these videos pop up on YouTube. I'm like, what? That's not something that I feel you should have as your goal. I would love to make $1 million, but guess what? At what cost? If you lock yourself in a room and you just focus on this, you might be able to, but if that's your goal, you're gonna be miserable doing it. You're gonna cut people out of your life. You're not gonna go outside. You're just gonna be grinding, which is fine to do. but in mediation. You have a goal, make it something realistic. You don't just say, hey, I want to be a millionaire by 25 and you're 24 and a half and you don't even have a dollar to your name. No, make it realistic and just focus on the controllables like I've been constantly saying this past month and a half. Chunk it, do the things that matter, and just celebrate the little wins. I'm doing a lot of callbacks right now because it's true. You aren't going to be a best-selling author overnight. You're not suddenly going to get thousands of blog hits when you weren't getting that before overnight. It's slow and steady. Rome wasn't built in a day. We've all heard this. The reason why people constantly say the same things because they're true. And you got to keep hearing it until it hits a note inside your head and you go, wow, you know what? They're right. And that's mainly it for this episode. Like I said, it's a rant. There's a lot of pauses because I'm thinking on the go and talking, but I had fun doing it. And that's a great thing. If I only get one listener, guess what? If they learn something from it, that's great. They might tell their friends what they learned. Doesn't matter if they don't tell their friends to check out the channel. It's just share knowledge. Knowledge is power. And if you enjoy this, definitely subscribe. Doing episodes, trying to do one a week. I know I took off on the 16th, but it was my birthday week. It was my little mini vacation. And subscribe to Books by Josh Audio Immersion, which is this show. Take a look at my new book that's coming out on the 1st. It'll be on Amazon, Apple Books, Smashwords. Basically, even BarnesandNoble.com has my books. A New Set of Eyes, a thoughtful guide for creators using AI without losing their voice by yours truly, Joshua A. Rodriguez. And guess what? If you want to buy me a coffee, you can do that as well. Buymeacoffee.com/booksbyjosh. But I'll catch you guys in the next one.